a debate it's been. Oh, that started without me touching anything. What a debate it's been, and I'm really glad to be here because earlier in the week I was worried I was either going to have to pull out or do my debate entirely with interpretive dance because I was in fact voiceless. Not from yelling at the underperforming Australian Olympic team, but because I had influenza-induced laryngitis. So as I was, fighting off the influenza, it gave me a lot of time to think about my adaptive immune response. And that was because I was thinking, if only I'd had the flu vax, my adaptive immune system would have made a really good antibody response and I wouldn't be sick right now. But was my adaptive immune system actually doing anything else in that influenza infection? Well, I have this handy table right here that clearly shows that with the presence of adaptive immunity, I had a 100% chance of survival. Without T or B cells, 0. So, as the opposition would have it, I would be dead right now. So consider me the ghost of ICI's past, here to warn you lest you continue to make bad life decisions. Now, you would have thought that both my untimely death and decades of research into primary immunodeficiency and HIV/AIDS would have made it abundantly clear that the adaptive immune system was not redundant. However, don't jump to the conclusion that our opposition for dullards for thinking otherwise. There is actually another explanation. So of course, redundancy is all about expectations, what you're aiming for. So for example, if you're aiming for the moon, you need a spaceship. If you just want to go visit the penguins at Phillip Island, a spaceship is redundant and a car will probably be okay. And if you just want to live your life on the couch, all modes of transport are probably redundant. So maybe the problem here is not that they don't understand how great the adaptive immune response is, but maybe while the rest of us are kind of aiming for, the moon, or at least Phillip Island, these guys are happy on the couch. So what's the biological equivalent of the couch? Well, we all know that invertebrates all have adaptive immunity. So we've ruled out, frogs, sharks, even the lamprey, which spends most of its adult life sucking on to fish. So what does that leave them? Where exactly are these guys aiming? The sea sponge. It's a pretty good lifestyle. You don't have to worry about grand rejection. And maybe in the end when you die, your lifeless body will be used by higher organisms with adaptive immune response as cleaning products. But maybe I'm being harsh. There are other species without adaptive immune responses that are more dynamic. Like C. elegans. You could be a 1 millimeter worm. It has a pretty good life. Hermaphrodite, asexual reproduction, you don't have to worry about finding a mate. You live, 2 to 3 weeks and you can produce 300 offspring in that time. So it's a pretty good life. But what happens when this worm runs into fairly, relatively harmless organism like Candida? Well, that's shown quite clearly here. You can see the yeast cells build up, turn into filamentous cells, and burst through the sides of the worm, killing the worm. Which is fine if you're a worm because you've got 299 siblings who can carry on your family line. But not so great, I think, for the rest of us. So I think you'll agree with me that a life without an adaptive immune system is really no life at all.